taking the resources from our place. When are we stopping? When are you stopping? You are still continuing with the stealing of the resources. When are you stopping, gentlemen? These guys, they are thinking you guys are joking here around.
Where's your boss?
When are you stopping the stealing of our resources? When are you stopping? Those trucks that left here, they have got all on them. They have got all on them. Now you guys are here to steal our resources and our future. It's not good like that, yo. It's not good like that.
As you can see, this is massive illegal mining activities that the government is turning a blind eye on. We can guess the amounts of income that they are generating from here for around 270 million per batch that they are exporting. So they are exporting lots and lots of ore from our country without proper and due process being followed.
Mr. Jimmy, thank you so much for actually allowing me to ask you some questions and just for us to actually do this. So you were recently arrested at the at the at your chief's or your chief's office, yeah, the traditional authority office, for actually standing up against the illegal mining in the Uist community. I just want to know I just want to know what really motivated you to take up such a strong strength against the illegal mining within your community.
Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity also. First of all, I was not an activist.
Mm.
I was a part-time farmer and I was employed as a cleaner at one of the local schools. But over time, I've been observing developments that are taking place in our community.
Yeah.
And a few of them were the mining was also part of it.
Mm.
And being part of these environmental programs,
Yes.
such as now the UNESCO World Heritage programs, I developed a background of environmental protection.
Mm.
And that's now from where I've been looking at as to how mining companies are damaging our environment.
Yeah.
But then this thing went further, is from just damaging the environment to mining companies not benefiting the local community. And even though
Yeah.
that did not even bother me, there was a critical situation that happened personally with my mother,
Mhm.
that she was employed at the mine
Mm.
and she got sick at the mine. She was mistreated at that specific mine, and unfortunately, till she has to resign. Currently, we are busy struggling with that case to see if the mine cannot assist my mother with medical bills and all those
Yeah.
things. And those are tiny things that has motivated me. One additional thing that has also motivated me is the fact that in our community we have elders,
Yeah.
and these elders are the ones to advise the traditional leaders.
Yeah.
These are elders that is to be respected and they are views to be listened to. But unfortunately, from the side of the traditional authorities, they were not given that platform. And there were technical strategies that were used, such as for the elders to be requested to go and write a letter if they want to raise their issues. And if they have to go and write the letter with a pen and paper, then they were told to go and type it. So these were now the tiny things that frustrated me. But then now I was having a tiny printing shop at home, and I was assisting a number of people that would come to me.
Yeah.
And I started realizing that these people, most of them having the same issues, and are going to the office and would be requested to go and write letters, and after they had to type and all that. So that's now how I started to take up this situation, to say, no, I need to address this situation from the perspective of a youth. And that's now how I approached the traditional authority office to see how I can assist them and all that. But unfortunately, I was not also given a space to do so. And the only way was for us to take this thing up as community.
Yeah.
That's how we now started approaching the mining companies to say, no, we need to benefit from this.
Yeah.
And you need to do your consultations. You need to carry out your environmental impact assessments. And if you don't do those things, then we are really going to stand up against you. The Chinese company that we are most specifically labeling as mining illegally is one of the companies that we communicated with.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they told us, no,
What is the
this
name of the company?
Xinfeng investment. So they were like, no, we already have communicated with the traditional authority office, and we have everything, we have all the papers and all those things that they said. So that's now how but then we had evidence, enough evidence. That's now how we took the case to social media, we take the case to relevant ministries, and that's how I got involved. And now I've been in this thing almost for 4 years now as an activist.
So what evidence did you guys have against now that company that is actually they're mining illegally in the Uist community?
We have extensive evidence,
Yeah.
and this includes their application to the Ministry of Mines and Energy, in which they have clearly applied only for semi-precious stones to go and mine semi-precious stones.
Mm.
Now, what we know is that, and that's one thing that's included in the Minerals Prospecting and Mining Act, that small-scale miners and semi-precious stone miners are those are people that are easily being exempted to carry out the environmental impact assessment. And that's now how the people have escaped the loophole of carrying out the environmental impact assessment. Some years back, the former Minister of Mines and Energy was also highlighting on their the environmental impact assessment of Xinfeng, stating that it is what do you use, the pulverized, or it is somebody else's research that is being utilized to carry out
So it's not theirs.
they did not carry out the environmental impact assessment. They did not consult the community. Now, if you carry out an environmental impact assessment, you are required to consult the community in that process. Those are stages that has not been done. And as much as we would want development and mining companies to come, and we emphasize that statement and say, we are not against mining, but we are against the way this extractive industry is approaching the community and the country at large. And that's now where we are saying, maybe it might be the problem of the leaders, or it might be the problem of the policy. So that's now where us as young people need to stand up and influence policies to speak to our current needs, and to address the issue of neo-colonialism that we are currently slowly but surely facing.
Okay, did you try to engage now with especially with the ministries and the relevant like stakeholders that we're supposed to give now the permission, or like to make sure that this company actually follow the right procedures?
Yes, the systems, processes, and institutions, like our late president was saying. And when we started with this thing, we started on the ground to say, traditional authority office, the conservation office, are you guys aware of these mining activities? And the traditional authority office did not respond to us. The conservation office responded. They stated clearly with evidence that we have till today that unfortunately they don't know how that company came into that specific area. And due to the existence of that mine, a very sensitive breeding area, it's a breeding and tourism area, that one has been destroyed. In that specific area, the conservation office was breeding wild animals, from which they were now getting contracts with trophy hunters. So we had a contract with a trophy hunter, and just because of the establishment of Xinfeng, animals migrated from the area, and now the hunter cancelled his contract. So we are sitting with a loss of income due to mining activities also. And so we took the case from those officers. When the conservation officers they are not aware, we took the case to the Minister of Mines and Energy, and as well as to environment. The minister went down, had a visit, and we elaborated the whole situation to him. We have given him proof, of which he has invited the community, it's a 7-member committee, to Windhoek, in which we had a face-to-face discussion again with the minister, where we again emphasized on why Xinfeng is illegal. Unfortunately, the situation was changed in such a way and was microscoped down only to social development, while we were saying it's illegal mining. So they were like, no, the company is legal, they have got the documents, but they are not just fulfilling what they're supposed to fulfill. That's now the perspective of the ministry. And that was now in 2023. 2024, around November, we again, we in our community, we do research. We don't just sleep. We go out, we investigate companies, what they are doing. And that we went down, we found out that these guys went further from this specific area that they had been given.
You went to the mining
to
site.
the mining site. So from the specific area that they were given the right, apparently by the Ministry of Mines to mine, they moved now to a specific area where clearly they don't have permission to mine. And in that zone, they have distracted ancestral graves. They have distracted the biodiversity. You understand? So those are things that are there that the people or the forces involved in this don't want us to bring forth.
So what did they do to the graves? Like, what did they take the graves, or what happened?
So now, if it's mining and you come into area that you don't know
Yeah.
that there are graves,
Yeah.
you come drill, you blast, you take your ore, you go crush it or you export it. You understand? So in that process, you won't know
Yeah.
that you have actually distracted a grave. Fortunately, for us, the movement includes elders, and for me as an activist, I speak for the elders.
Yeah.
So that's now how the elders said, no, please take us there, because we were formerly mining there some years back.
Yeah.
So we took them down there, and then they were identifying specifically, saying this one is a grave for who that passed on when. They were showing us one grand what is it? Elder was saying the holes that were caused by Xinfeng are so big, and a number of graves. There's a riverbed that was also affected. That riverbed was the softest area where we could bury people. And now, since this hole is so big, I cannot clearly say where exactly the graves were. But then the graves were within this riverbed.
Within this
Yeah.
riverbed.
So those are things that are there. And if you don't carry out your environmental impact assessment, those are things that you are going to face, because you come into an area you don't know, you get a consent from a leader that does not know the history of the community,
Yeah.
and then you continue. What about the community? If you would have involved this community, they would have thought, this specific area is for graves. So can you just protect them, and then you can continue mining?
That's so true.
That's the perspective that we are actually trying to implement here.
Okay. So you were actually arrested. So can you just maybe take us back to that fateful day? Like, what really happened and what forced you guys like to go to that extent where you have to go and boycott, or to kind of like stand by the traditional authority asking for his removal? Actually, maybe just take us back.
You remember in my first response, I told you that we wrote letters, we approached the authorities that are there. And the traditional authorities, as usual, they ignored us. And when they ignored us, then we started with the company. When the company did not respond and all those things, we protest towards the company. And even though we protested, the chief was still silent on the situation. What happened was that the community started now gathering all the additional evidence around the chief to say, no, but then this chief that is now giving these consents without consulting us.
So he's the one giving the consent.
Exactly. The traditional authority is the body that gives consent, the last consent. And they are the ones having the social license to say, go and mine, let my people benefit in this and this and this way. Even though the corporate social responsibilities are not regulated in our laws, it is the power lies with the traditional authority to change the lives of the people that are in this community. And unfortunately, this thing did not happen in our community. That's why we started gathering additional evidence that are also not related to the mining industry, but then to the performance of the chief and his activities, the financial management, all those gathered, and then decided to remove the chief. The elders, with their power, because by the customary law, it is the community given the power. They gathered meetings starting from Uist down, deep down into all the Tongredaman land. That's now the side of Palamwag down there in Gunene region. Went down there, we had meetings with the Tongredaman communities there, presenting them our situation. Some of them already knew, and they were like, no, we have been wondering where the authentic leader, Master Dorop, went to, because he was the one that was previously assisting the former late chief. But unfortunately, when the chief passed on, there was a situation that happened, and then this current chief took over the position. And now it seems like a position was taken, even though the capacity is not met there. And it could be one of the reasons why we are facing what we are facing. After protest and ministries and all those things, we started now with the traditional authorities to say, sir, you need to step down. We protest. Actually, there was a year 2023 that they were organizing a festival. And we were requesting to say, no, don't organize a festival. Could we utilize that zone for a community meeting, which you have not held for all these years in 2017?
Really?
Yes, my dear. Those are things that were happening. But then, unfortunately, they refused and continued with the festival. And then we went to go and protest at the festival. That was 2023. 2024, we did the same thing. And that's now through those lines that we developed a petition, and that was almost signed by 670 people, of which through we have submitted the removal of the chief and then the designation of Master Dorop as an acting chief to prepare us for 6 months, so that we can elect or appoint our authentic traditional leader within the 6 months that we are being prepared. And that's the stage that we're at.
And maybe if you can just tell us, like, on how did you actually being arrested.
Okay, the arresting situation.
Eh?
After we have given the chief the removal letter, he received the letter, and within was it a number of days? We were, I think it's 21 days. We were to meet him so that they can be the handing over of the assets, the keys, the stamps, and everything. Unfortunately, he did not turn up at that meeting. The elders decided, no, we are not going to leave the office unless we see the chief. Unfortunately, the police officers came also already. That was a week before or 2 weeks before I was arrested. The police officers came, and then they were like, no, you cannot sit in the office. You need to leave the office since it's in our public office, and all those things that they said. The elders said, no, if we have to leave, we have to leave with a concrete answer from the chief as to when we have to see him. He said, oh, we are going to see him on the 7th of January. That was now in the beginning of this year.
This year, yes.
There was a very, very outstanding meeting that we had with the chief, in which it was clearly highlighted on his removal. But then now, before that, the chief has submitted a court order, or requested in the court order, for the elders to be removed from the office. He has mentioned the number of names of the people that has to be removed, and then the elders. I was not part of it. For me, that specific fateful day, I was on my way to my elder's funeral. It was a Saturday, and we just came across the situation that we heard that no, the Special Reserve Force has been sent from Bribe to come and carry out our elders, or to do whatever they have to do. That's how I ended up at the Traditional Authority office and decided, no, I'm going to sit and observe what is happening.
Yeah.
I sat down there and I was observing exactly what was happening, and the Special Reserve started carrying the elders, but then the elders were resisting, and they managed to resist their own situation. But what do they say? Take the head and everything will be stopped. And that's why now the guy that has apprehended me would be showing the Special Reserve Force to say, you must get that one.
That's what really.
You understand? So the guys came to me and they pulled me up. I resisted. There are some videos on social media, and I was resisting, and that's how I was carried out. And in that carrying process also, the officers, the Special Reserve Force, were saying, you need to leave the Traditional Authority office as per the order. But then they were not telling me that they are arresting me. When we got out of the gate, they threw me into their van, take me to the police station, and then they locked me in. After an hour or so, my colleague, Master Ringo, was also brought, and he was locked up. But then in the process, when we got to the police station, I was asking Master Ringo, why are you arresting me? He said, no, we are not arresting you. We are just locking you so that we can control the situation. If the situation is done, then we are going to release you. But then late in the evening, we just realized that there was a vehicle that came from Maruru to come pick us up. We were taken to Maruru. We had to appear in court on Monday for us to get bail, and that's how the situation kicked off.
So on what basis were you arrested on?
That's now one thing is that in the what is it? The disclosure. It states that we have been pushing around the police officer. But unfortunately, the guy that was arrested was outside the Traditional Authority office. I was inside the yard of the Traditional Authority office. So now I fail to understand or don't remember when and how we have been pushing around police officers. Because I'm one of the law-abiding citizens in Namibia, I told myself as a young person that I will stay within the framework of the law and adhere to these laws, even though some of them do not speak to us. And that's one thing that I uphold. And when we try all the avenues that you could try, the Ministry of Urban, the regional governor, we tried all the avenues that we could, anti-corruption. We tried even to the traditional, the councillors, the traditional councillors. We tried all the avenues that we could. And since we could not get help, the elders decided we are going to sit, so whatever happens can happen to us. And we are at that stage currently. If the chief does not give over or hand over the required assets, do his handing over, then we are still going to be camping at that office whenever we feel like.
But did the arresting not discourage you?
No. If it was a situation that I'm being influenced by someone, then it would have discouraged me. But then since it's a situation that I've taken upon myself and decided that with the other youth that I will have to stand up for this, is one thing that is actually encouraging me. And these things that the leadership is putting me in, it's like just pouring petrol on
Yeah.
fire, you understand? And then
Mm.
encouraging me more to do this thing. And that is the reason why I'm still in this activism.
Okay. So like you also accused of the traditional authorities of them receiving bribes from the Chinese company, the one that are actually like mining the illegally, and then the Chinese company saying that they were actually giving, it was not bribe, but it was their social responsibility funds that they were actually given. So what is your response to that?
Yeah, we are not accusing the chief of bribe. We are accusing the chief of selling us out on cheap prices.
Mm,
Yes, that's one thing. And receiving donations such as car tires. Understand?
really?
In our customary law, yes, I will
Mm,
in the presentation, I'll
mm,
go more into detail regarding that and show you enough evidence
mm.
as to what we are talking about. But now the mining companies are making millions, and then the donations that you would get and the things that you're speaking about
Yeah.
in the meetings, it's only about the tires and tiny things.
Really?
Coming to Xinfeng.
Mm.
Xinfeng is paying $10,000 per month to our traditional authority office, and this is the agreement that has been made. But as a community, we are saying that if consultations would have been done with
Yeah.
the community, then we would not have been sitting with $10,000. $10,000, 120,000 at the end of the year. This company is making 450 million by one export.
Ooh, doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
So that's now where we are hungry as Namibians, and we are asking ourselves, we have resources, why are we hungry? And it's the leaders. Remember,
Yeah.
colonialism, when it came into Africa, those missionaries and colonizers, they did not come and just start doing their thing.
Mm.
They were approaching their traditional leaders. Their traditional leaders were the ones selling their people for slave trade and whatever. That's history. It's facts that are there.
Yeah.
Now we are in neo-colonialism, and the traditional authority leaders are now doing the same. And I'm not talking about all the traditional.
Mm.
It must be clear.
Yeah.
I know a number of one traditional. I just forgot, but
Mm.
in Ovambo land, it's in
Yeah.
Ovambo traditional authority. Extensive. They are perfect, and those are the leaders that we are looking for. Leaders that speak with the community, not against the community.
Mm.
And this is the clear example that we are facing in our traditional authority, in our community, of
Yeah.
which traditional leaders are so bent able by the investors to a point that if they are being told we are going to give you $10,000, they're like, okay, it's good.
That's enough. Yeah.
Understand? Instead of saying no, we need how much are you making?
Yeah.
For what's your lifespan? And those are now the areas that you need to analyze, and from there we have to speak in line as to from how much these people are generating and how much you can get out of it. So
Yeah.
already these companies are paying only 2% royalty tax to the government, and you are asking $10,000. The whole money is going out of the country. We are not having anything here in the country. And those are things that we have been talking about. If you as a leader, you sit down and then you don't speak about your people to be employed,
Mm.
a new mining company opens and everyone there is not from your community, must concern you.
Mm.
And those are things that we have been highlighting. The other additional issue is also, in the traditional authority, the regulations,
Mm.
it speaks about the trust fund. Trust fund is a very important vehicle to transform the lives of the
Yeah.
community. But unfortunately, in our community, trust fund is not recognized as such. It's just a normal bank account for us. And the representation is supposed to be 12, is 11 representatives from all the stakeholders
Mm.
within the community. That's how a trust fund is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Our trust fund is only being served currently by 3 individuals. The chief has decided he's not going to channel the money to go to the trust fund
Mm.
as per the regulations of the Traditional Authority Act, and would request funds and give an additional traditional authority account, which is an operational account.
Yeah.
Now, operational accounts, as per my knowledge, are being utilized after the resolution has been taken
Mm.
at the board of trustees.
Mm.
So if from the trust fund, if the money comes into the trust fund, the budget has been developed, and then now that money that has been allocated for the operations of the authority
Yeah.
is going to be channeled from the trust fund to the operational account. Now, what is happening is, since there was, I think it's a 2023 report that was not submitted by the Traditional Authority Office, the trustees said they are not going to give any money. What did they do? What did the chief do?
Yeah.
He started now requesting money and then channel it to a different account where there are two poor elders, traditional elders, as signatories. And he would let those elders withdraw that money. And then that's how the realization was taken. That's now the evidence that we have. You understand? That's now evidence that we have. That we have given even the chief to say you are doing this. But now in Namibia, the only time people take things as evidence is if somebody dies. So as long as somebody does not die in Namibia, you will have to prove
Yeah.
that the evidence is there, and that's how it is. Even if you say there is a disease, Namibia waits for for one person to die in order to address that situation. So yeah, we are having a situation whereby we are standing with evidence to say these are the evidence and reasons why we don't want you as a traditional leader.
Yeah.
Come decide, he would be still asking. He would say he does not know, or he did not know that we have these problems, while we have been giving him these petitions since 2020. It started 2019, and then he was requested by the minister to have a meeting with the community.
Yeah.
We had a meeting in 2019. He promised a lot of things, that he will establish the leagues, the youth league, the elders league, men's league, and women's league. He's going to, fix and held meetings and all those things that we say promised us. Come 2020, 2020, continued normally. Till now, we don't have a youth structure in our traditional authority office. Till now, we don't have the elder structure in our traditional authority office. We don't have the men. Those structures are non-existent in our authority. So where is the chief getting his information from? If these bodies, the key bodies that are supposed to be letting this authority work,
they are not there.
are not in existence. So those are tiny things around the leadership. There are also some gruesome traditional norms that we believe in, like marriage, of which is being undermined even by our traditional leaders. And those are things that we've incorporated to say, no, these are the reasons, plus the illegal mining situation that you are sitting and watching.
Yeah.
Because of all those.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Uist also, sorry for cutting you off. Like Uist being like a mining hub in the country. Do you think is it like when it comes to the development? Do you think it's at that standard where you can see this is the mining hub, and then you can see by the development and the community member, the empowerment of the community members and everything?
I urge you to visit Uist, and then you can tell me. I will ask you that question, so you tell me. But from my personal perspective, Uist is a settlement right now. It's got almost 3,600 people. But since this mining opened, I think that population has also increased to 5,000 maybe. And we have a tiny clinic that cannot address the health issue. So people would be sitting till 5 o'clock and the clinic would close. We have roads. The population has increased, so the population of the vehicles would also increase. No road signs, no nothing, no speed humps, no nothing. So it's a critical situation. We have a population increasing, no fire brigade, no nothing. If a house burns there, it burns down to ashes. Unless Nexus must maybe come some way with their water trucks to assist. You understand? So those are things that we are analyzing. You understand? If you go to the what is it, the high school, it's a science associated school. Peter's Clanep Secondary School, it has got science. But then go into that science lab, and then you would see how miserable it is. So those are responsibilities of the mining companies. Let's upgrade this mine. Reason being, the resources extracted from there are in those science labs.
Yeah.
And the learners need to see and feel them practically, in case if they are able to. Understand?
Yeah.
And those are things that we want. Now those learners must be taken to MLH to go and do their practicals. I don't know lately where they have been taking them, but then those are things that are happening. And we cannot say that's development.
Yeah.
If the majority of people employed are from outside and only 3 people are from the inside, do we say that development? That whole money is going back to wherever the people came from. So it's not circulating in the county, in the town. So there's no development effect that would be there in case of mining. And we can name a lots and lots of things that mining companies are not doing. And at this stage, I cannot confidently say that Uist is benefiting from this. But search about Uist, you would know largest hard rock tin found there in Africa. Lithium found there. It's rich, but nothing is happening in our community. No tarred. Okay, there's one half tarred road, but then these buses of these companies that are now picking up the people would be driving all over in the community, picking up their employees, leaving us with dust, and that's all we benefit from.
And what are some of the health issues or the challenges that the community are actually facing, especially when it comes to mining?
There's
I know you have to go, but
there's one thing that I would advise you. Please do for us a research on the TB statistics in Uist. then it would be clear. You would get a clear picture, and we all are going to have factual evidence as to the health issues there. But then TB and asthma are on the top of the list in Uist, and these are diseases that come from dust. You understand?
Yeah.
So those are things, and it's not only the mine. We have got was it Namgli Bricks company that is making whatever bricks that they are doing there in Uist. That one has been there longest operating in that community and has done nothing for the community. But we would be sitting and inhaling that smell of that what is it?
Yeah,
I don't know. It's the
they are using.
So it's the muscles of the leaders are not there, and then the people, investors, come and do whatever they feel like, whenever they want, however they want it. That's where the problem is. There's a loophole, and the investors are disrespecting the community because they have disrespected our leaders. They know the leaders are asking tiny things.
Yeah.
So once you ask a tiny thing like car tires on an investor, what do you expect? You will not get respect.
They want respect.
Yeah, and that's basically what is going on in our community. They are not going to show you that they don't respect you, but you would feel it, and you would see it within a longer time frame that you have literally been disrespected.
Yeah.
You know, imagine. I there's something important that I left out, and that's now the small scale miners. In the area that Xinfeng started mining, there were small scale miners that were mining lithium there, and then they were making their living from there.
Yeah.
When Xinfeng took over, they told those people to fuck off straight.
Really?
Yes, I've got living, walking evidence there in Uist, a present that was practically present that day, that was told like that. Around the small scale miners, when Xinfeng came for its mining activities, was given that right, the way that they got it. They were small scale miners mining in that specific. They were making a living out of it, and that was it. Unfortunately, the Chinese finally, I think Master Lee came there and told the small scale miners to fuck off. From that, in the US, they apparently bought it from the chief. Apparently, that stinks. That's now the statement of those individuals that were present. That is, one of them is also still in Uist. And if you visit his house, you will see how the situation has changed. Unfortunately, as we are speaking now, his son has also dropped out of school. He tried to go and consult with the police officers to say, can you speak to my son so we can go to school? The police officers were there at the house. They were like, no, why don't you want to go to school? Let this go to school. And he said, no, man, I come back, I sleep without eating. In the morning, I go to school without eating. I have to sit and watch other people eat during a break. Then I must come back and come find ways to eat, and then come sleep again without eating and go. I cannot maintain these things. So that's the reason why I don't go to school. So I can hustle for myself and make a living for myself. That's now what that young boy that was supposed to complete his school is saying. And those are effects of these mining activities. It is a direct effect. So they don't even give room or assistance to small scale miners. What do they really want of us? That's now the situation that we are in.
That seems low. So thank you so much, and we're actually hoping that we'll actually be able to come to Uist and really speak to these people, especially the people that are impacted, the mining companies, that the different stakeholders that are with him, and see how further we're gonna actually take the situation. So thank you so much.
Thank you.